community is amazing how resilient you have been through all the economic ups and downs. You know, you got the rest of the nation that is in trouble. Texas has weathered it very well, but overall things like sales tax are down. Brownwood continues to do well. As housing went down, we saw a little bit of a problem at Kohler, some layoffs. I think they've all been replaced. So the question I keep asking, how are you doing? And it is amazing to me that Brownwood keeps coming back. It's just, it amazes me. Y'all got this new sports complex that's being built, the Bowie complex, which I understand is going to be wonderful for the area. Ranger College teaching classes here this year. Unemployment through your area, y'all are much, much better than anywhere else in the state. Sales tax collection doing very, very well. The lake's full. Y'all are you're an amazing community, and there's a reason that happens, and it's the people I'm standing in front of that make that happen and have for years. This is y'all have had an amazing group for a long, long time here. And, I salute not only Brownwood and Brown County, but this Chamber of Commerce for what you do. Here's what I'd like to do, if you'd allow me to. I told Calvin as I sat down, I said my staff put together a thick folder of things for me to talk about today, and I meant to look at it. I sat on the phone for 2 hours after coming over. Calvin said, well, it doesn't make any difference. You don't ever look at any of your notes anyway. Here's what I'd like to do. I'm gonna kind of do a circle approach here, is that I want to get back at the end of the comments and talking about Brownwood issues and things that you potentially would be impacted by the things that are going to go in the legislature. But this is a very, very interesting period. I think since I've been in public life and as a business person, I don't think I've ever seen a period like this. This is very, very unusual for a lot of reasons. And in the introduction, Steve made a comment that I've been elected the president of the Senate in Texas. One of the things that I find probably the most rewarding and the most informative of anything I've ever done since I've been elected is that 4 times a year, the 50 Senate presidents get together, we sit in a room, and we compare notes. Now, the interesting thing about that is that every one of these meetings generally are in a very unusual place, and sometimes it includes a briefing from that area. In June, we were in Berlin, and we were looking at cap and trade and what's happening with all the European countries, and we were getting a briefing prior to the federal government beginning to talk about cap and trade, the carbon tax, and making sure everyone understood it. In October, we traveled to St. Petersburg, Russia, to be briefed by the Russian government, and it was absolutely intriguing listening to them, but even more interesting listening to my other 49 counterparts talking about their states. The thing that continues to come out of every one of these meetings that I attend is that every state in the nation, I think, tends to have a lot more things in common than they do differences. Yes, there's some small ones, there's some large ones, there's the red states, there's the blue states. Interestingly, of this group of 50 Senate presidents, it's almost 50-50 Republican and Democrat. My third meeting was about 3 weeks ago in Florida, and during that meeting I asked the person who puts it together, I said, is there something to show who's Republican and Democrat? I'd sat through 3 meetings listening to the comments, and I couldn't tell by their comments whether they're Republican or Democrat. Now that is a great statement to make about state government. We're sitting here watching our federal government. I would say right now that our federal government is about. I'm extremely disappointed with the way the federal government is operating right now. The Republicans and Democrats don't even talk to each other. They don't meet. The Texas delegation never sits down and has a breakfast together to compare notes and talk about what's good for Texas. Now, that's a problem. The thing I find about state governments is somehow those, the leaders in states realize that we were set up on a states' rights basis And if the federal government would just leave us alone and allow us to grow and operate our own states, generally most of us would be fine.